Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rasha Sari. I'm a co-founder of Acadian Limited. And in this video, we are going to talk about the court system in Ghana and how it works. So there are a lot of issues in Ghana, and some people might think that the court system doesn't work, but it really works. And I'm talking from experience. There is a whole court system here in Ghana, just like any other country, and there are strict guidelines that must be followed. There are brilliant lawyers in the country. If your lawyer knows what he or she is doing, then you've got a case. Now, most of the problems that we face here in Ghana is people like to cut corners. Is a problem that we have as Africans. I mean, when I was in the States, whenever somebody goes to buy a house or land or whatever it is, for the most part, you go to a lawyer. It's almost like it's a standard, right? It's something that nobody has to tell you. It's what everybody respects and what everybody does. But when people come to Africa, even people who live in the States, they disregard all of that and they want to do everything by themselves. And then they get screwed, right? Because if you understand the law, right? Let's say you go buy your land and you use a lawyer. And the lawyer did everything, right, that was required of him to do, such as search report, having a contract in place, having evidence to prove in court, like that's how we operate. Or you go for a company like my company, Acadian Limited, on your behalf to kind of purchase land. We have everything on paper. So if you get screwed, then we go to court, you're going to win, right? A friend of mine's auntie just won her land back, 4+. Somebody built on it, and the person who built on it is an innocent soul, unfortunately. The person bought the land from somebody. The land didn't belong to that person. It happens all the time in Ghana because people don't use a lawyer to do. If you use a lawyer for this, you'll find out the land did not belong to the person. But I don't know, it's going to change over time, but there is a court system here that works, okay? If you take the proper channel, you have nothing to worry about. Use a professional to do your work, right? Let's say you use us to build your house, whatever, and we screw you over. There's a court system here, right? We have the contract in place, everything. You can take us to court, you're going to get your money back. That's as safe as it gets. So there are professional companies here. There are laws in place that work. This is not like a chaotic place where nothing is functioning. The problem comes when people try to shortcut. People try to cut corners and, get stuff for cheap. That's where all the problem comes, right? That's where all the problems come from. If you use professional firms, professional lawyers and all that stuff, you are essentially protected. So you must pay that professional fees that Africans hate to pay. Even Africans who live outside, they will pay it to the white man. But once they come to Africa, they don't want to help their brothers, lawyers, and companies eat. They want to do everything themselves. They get screwed, and now they don't have a case, right? The whole reason why I'm making this video is to kind of encourage people, right, especially diasporans or people who've never actually visited Ghana before. I know people do their research and you come across all these issues. You might think that there is no law and order in the country. There is law and order, and it works if you take the proper channel. For example, I'm in court right now, and I've never lost a night of sleep over it because I know the person who came to me was just trying to bother me, and there is a law and order in place that no judge can help you with that. My uncle actually been to court with the government and won, okay, on multiple occasions actually. So there is law and order in place, and if you do what you're supposed to do, then you essentially have nothing to worry about, because if somebody try to play with you, you can take that person to court. Just like in the States, in the States it's not all roses, I remember in business law, if you purchase in a house in the States, you go for a lawyer, and the lawyer has to do due diligence, right? Like the same thing we do here, search report, all of that stuff, to make sure they can track down the ownership of the property before it gets to you. So it's almost like mandatory for you to get a lawyer to do stuff like this. But when people come to Africa, they forget all of that. They just go to somebody and say, oh, I'm selling this land, and you buy it. It doesn't work that way. You need a professional so that you can hold that professional accountable in case, they perform on negligence. In a nutshell, most of these problems that we face is because people try to act differently when they get to Africa. I don't know why, but they refuse to pay the professionals and they do stuff not the right way. So if you do stuff not the right way and you get screwed, how are you going to go to court and prove that? You're going to lose that, right? But the court system works here. Politicians lose in court. Everybody loses in court, right? It works, right? It works. It might be slow and maybe a little unorthodox way of going about it, but there is law and order in place. It's been in place for a long time. That works, so they have the trial court, and then once you lose that, you can appeal it, just like it is outside, and it can go all the way to the Supreme Court, where they have multiple judges sitting. So appeals court, they have judges sitting there, not more than one. I think it's three in that appeals court. I don't know if I'm mistaken. The Supreme Court, I think it's about 9 of them. So there is a law and order in this country. In a nutshell, if you're trying to do anything in Ghana to protect yourself, get a lawyer involved. Go to the right companies. If you're trying to build a house, go to a company. Don't try to trust your relatives with it. They're not professionals to build your house. And if something goes wrong, what are you gonna do? You're gonna take them to court. You really don't have any proof and all that, right? That's where most of the problems come from. And if you're buying a property, you don't know much about land, you're not a lawyer, you need a professional, you need guidance, right? So that's why you should go to the description below and reach out to Acadian, where we can do all of that for you. And we are actually liable for anything that goes wrong because we are an actual company. You can take us to court, right? You can take us to court, and we have an office and everything. So, I mean, I personally don't get why people always want to take the shortcuts. Just do it the right way. It's less headache. You have somebody to blame if things go wrong, and we got to blame the other person. We got to pay you and then take that person up. It's as simple as that. So use professionals, save yourself the headache. Ghana is a beautiful place with beautiful people. Because of poverty, sometimes people tend to try to get you, so you got to be smart, right? In the States, there's a lot of scammers in the States as well. Don't get me wrong here. There's a lot of scammers in the States, so you are smart about it and you protect yourself. You must do the same in Africa. And I think, yeah, this wraps up the video. The court system in Ghana works. It works very well, right? You could go up against somebody who's really big, the government even, you have a case and you're gonna win. It works. There is law and order, right? You gotta get yourself a great lawyer and all that stuff, and you're good to go. The court system works. So if you've not subscribed to the channel already, kindly do so. Like this video as it helps with the algorithm. Comment, let me know what you think. And until next time, my friends, the legendary. Peace.